Hello everyone, let's talk qualifying in Austria, and wow, what a qualifying session that was. I loved it. I couldn't have asked for a better qualifying to start the season with. There was chaos going on left, right and centre, and yeah, let's get into it. So let's start with Q1, and I can't wait to talk about the Williams. I was so surprised with George Russell's performance. He was so very nearly into Q2, and I just think the Williams have made great progress since we saw them in qualifying last year and since we've seen them in winter testing. He was really close to the Haas of Kevin Magnussen in 16th place in the end. I think there was only a couple of thousandths of a second between them, so amazing job to Russell for getting the absolute most that he can out of that car. I think that was great. Even though both of the Williams were at the back of the pack and both out in Q1, we saw a first qualifying in F1 from Latifi, and even though he qualified in 20th, it was nice to see him going out in the F1 car, nice to see him getting comfortable with it, and hopefully we can see better things from him next weekend in the qualifying session then. Also out in Q1, we had the two Alfa Romeo drivers, so Kimi Raikkonen in 19th and Antonio Giovinazzi in 18th. Nothing really to report with those. Giovinazzi did take a little trip into the gravel, but apart from that, both clean laps, just not really very quick on the pace. And finally joining them is Magnussen in 16th. So, adequate job by the Haas? I'm not sure what else we can say. I'm looking forward to see what they can do and see if they can switch on those tyres in the race tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Q2, by far the most chaotic session of the three. And can we just believe we had a Ferrari knocked out in Q2? I know the Ferraris were sandbagging a little bit and their car hasn't been doing very well in testing, so the Ferraris really haven't been strong at all, but it was still a shock to see Vettel out in Q2. Not much to report from either of the AlphaTauri drivers, just kind of bundling along quietly, but produce good laps. I'm sure that Pierre Gasly and Daniel Kvyat will be able to kind of potentially get into the points and grab a couple of those back-end points. In 15th, we had Grosjean, very, very close to Magnussen. So Magnussen in Q1 in the end was very, very close to Grosjean's final lap. Grosjean 15th, Ocon 14th. It was really nice to see Ocon in his car again. Still quite far off of Ricciardo's pace, but we'll see what he can do in the race tomorrow. So yeah, the big talking point from Q2 is Vettel being knocked out. So he will start from 11th place on the grid tomorrow. I'm excited to see what he can do with race pace and strategy to see if he can actually make his way back into some good points and where we expect a four-time world champion in a Ferrari to be. Let's talk about Q3. Okay, so that Racing Point is a fast car. Both Stroll and Perez were doing great laps, even getting into the top 5 at points of the top half of the top 10. Too many tops. The woeful weekend continued as Leclerc was only able to get 7th. He was definitely pushing and definitely getting the most that he could out of that car, but the Ferrari only good enough for 7th when they were on pole last year. Alex Albon, amazing job. I remember in Q2 being seriously worried that he was not going to get out of Q2 and make it to Q1. And he did an incredible job. Ended up 5th place, and we'll see what he can do tomorrow in the race. My favourite part of the entire qualifying session, Lando Norris qualifying in 4th place. A career best qualifying for Lando Norris. I was so happy for him when that happened. He really did pull out an amazing lap and was very, very far away from his teammate, Sainz qualifying in 8th place. And on pole, of course, we have Valtteri Bottas. Congratulations, Bottas. We know he's strong in Austria. He's always proved that. I think 3rd pole in 4 races. So amazing job to Valtteri again. Even Lewis Hamilton wasn't able to kind of catch him on that quick lap, and they were pumping out really, really quick laps. But yeah, Hamilton in 2nd, and so we have a Mercedes 1-2. In 10th, we had the Renault of Ricciardo just squeezing in there. On the final laps of most of the drivers in Q1, Bottas did slide off and go on a bit of a gravel run. And I think that kind of messed up Ricciardo's lap a little bit, but hey-ho. He's still in 10th, which is a great feat for that Renault because it did not look particularly competitive in comparison to the rest of the midfield cars. So 10th will be a great start for Ricciardo. Stroll in 9th, Sainz in 8th. 7th is Leclerc, 6th Perez, 5th Albon, 4th Norris, 3rd Verstappen, 2nd Hamilton and 1st Bottas. Really looking forward to race day tomorrow. Let me know who you think is going to win. Anyway, that's it for my qualifying analysis. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you for my race analysis tomorrow.